To all good people of the interwebs, I say howdy. I'm Steve McAlphabet, and I am on day 6 of my motorcycling Music Across America tour. I am just about to leave the state of Florida for the first time in a while. I've been riding around this state for the last 5 days, and right over there is Alabama. So I'm going to be heading over there pretty soon, but I got to say a little something about Florida. I'm a Florida man. I'm not the one that takes his pet alligator to the convenience store. I leave him at home generally. I don't eat Tide Pods. I was tempted. They smell pretty good, but not that good. And I was born here. I'm an actual native Floridian, which some say is pretty rare. But the more and more people move down here, the rarer that becomes, of course. Now, I spent the first day riding from Sarasota to Indian Beach and spent a night camping out there. Beautiful area. Florida just has these beautiful forests in the middle of the state, and as I saw, off to the Gulf Coast up just south of Panama Beach in that area. But anyway, I spent a night camping out there, and I went to Tallahassee for a night, got to the Capitol building, and explored a little bit on Sunday. I found this amazing railroad yard arts district where I met some people and played some songs and hopefully found some new fans. But there wasn't a lot in Tallahassee compelling me to stay more than just a night. I'd kind of intended to stay in a lot of places where I visit at least 2 nights to get a feel for the place, but man, it's hot. It's so hot in Florida. So I just really want to get out. So yesterday, about a 200-mile ride, and I rode out to Panama City. And looking at the map, this road just runs right along the waterway, and my thought in my mind was that I would have these beautiful stretches of seeing the Gulf of Mexico and the bay, but mostly buildings, lots of buildings, so many buildings, just these corridors of condos and chain restaurants and chain discount outlets. Like Alvin's Island was everywhere. They're like McDonald's or 7-Eleven. They're just all over the place. I mean, just down the street from each other. It's crazy. So lots of development. So I barely even saw the ocean yesterday, the Gulf of Mexico. But there were a couple occasions, and I didn't really have a set spot where I was going to stay for the night. My next host is in Mobile, Alabama, where I'll be heading today. But I did find a few places where I thought about camping, but there was this one I went to, and I got this beautiful video of going out into these dunes on the end of this little peninsula, and it was gorgeous, but there were no trees for me to hang my hammock, and just to sleep on the ground would have cost me about $48 or so. And I didn't really want to do that, and I figured, for another 20 bucks I could get a hotel room, which I did. I got a really janky hotel room with basic cable, and but I uploaded some videos and got some good rest and a shower, and that's all good. Yeah, but I decided before I set out yesterday from Tallahassee to wear my bathing suit under my jeans. And there was this one little spot I found. It's on the bay, and just stripped down, took a nice swim. It was beautiful. So I've loved my journey through Florida for the last few days. I do have issues with Florida, I mean, we have our governor right now who, I appreciate a lot of his stance during COVID, and he didn't enforce as many lockdowns and as many, what do you call them, the vaccine thingamajiggies. He didn't force people to have them, and took a more standoffish approach, which I appreciated. However, in a lot of other things, he's really intent on banning a lot of things. I mean, he recently banned any city from celebrating Pride Month by having a rainbow color across their bridge. Banned that expression, that artistic expression, that creative expression, banned. And then before that, he banned, he's trying to ban a whole lot of books, which is not cool. And I can understand regulating what students read in school and all that kind of stuff, but it's a pretty far approach. And then he's like really trying to screw with Disney, which wasn't a good idea. And then he banned lab-grown meat before it's really even been researched. Now, I have no desire to really eat any lab-grown meat, and I won't be a customer of it, but I'm not afraid of it. You know, I understand how the free market works and competition works, and yet he just wants to support the ranchers and the way things have always been, and so he fears what could come of lab-grown meat, and so he bans it. That's cowardly. But worst of all for me was that a few years ago, several years ago, Sarasota County, or maybe there was a city, I don't know, but we voted that ranked choice voting would be a great way for us to determine our elections. Now, we haven't done it yet. We haven't actually used ranked choice voting, but like a lot of other communities, we have agreed that's a good way to go. So we don't have to depend on the Democratic and Republican corporations to make all of our decisions for us. However, Mr. DeSantis, after the kerfuffle with Mr. Trump saying that he lost the election as he said he was going to, and all that nonsense, Mr. DeSantis then decided to ban ranked choice voting. So we cannot use that now in the state of Florida for as long as he is governor, and until we get a more reasonable, commonsensical governor in that office. That's one of those things we do not have the right to do in Florida. And unfortunately, even with the Democratic corporation, they didn't even offer us to have a primary. That corporation just decided that Joe Biden was their guy, and most Floridians, we have nothing to say about it. Really nothing. It just comes down to you want to choose the red party or the blue party. And those are the only choices we got. So that's not a lot of freedom for me. I like a lot more freedom, and banning things doesn't seem like freedom to me. That seems like cowardice. So that's one of my big political issues here in Florida. But beyond that, I love this state. It's a beautiful state. The summers are way too hot anymore, which is one of the reasons I'm leaving for the summer. But I do love Florida. I love the beaches. I love the swamps. I love a lot of everything about it. And it was a great place to be from. And I'm sure I will be back one of these days. We'll just happen to see when that is. Until then, I am heading to Alabama, which will be